shit. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? All right. Whew. Second live stream of the day. This is my Monday afternoon at 12:30. The first live stream was about 6 hours ago. And we covered what happened in the weekend. We covered the fights. We covered our bets we won, our bets we lost. The July parlay cooked, but we hit on some method of victory bets. I hit big with Shakur winning a decision and Berlanga and Shiraz not going the distance. Put those on a little ticket. That was the most money I won. That was actually the heaviest bet I bet on. Also, I went heavy on my lock of the week. The odds weren't as good, but we still made a lot of money on Morel and Shakur on the money line. So, we got lucky. I got to say, in terms of my risk versus reward, people talk about getting lucky. I was sweating the Morel fight. It could have gone either way, especially since he got dropped in the fifth. But those are the breaks. You could say the same thing on the other way. I thought Pacquiao did enough to win. I had Pacquiao, and fell short on there. I had Amanda, fell short on there. So I lost a couple really close decisions. Definitely, I did pick Ed to win, and Ed got stopped. But I just had him on my parlay. I went really heavy on the fight itself to not go the distance. So that being said, moving forward, we do have boxing, midweek boxing, this Wednesday night in Australia. Just give me a second. So midweek boxing, this Wednesday night in Australia. Sydney Kudos Bank Arena. This is a battle of two rugby legends. Not really, they're not going to be household names internationally. They're not going to be world-class boxers, but they never claim to be. They are household names in Australia. These are rugby legends. Sonny Bill Williams, Paul Gallen. Gallen has wins over Mark Hunt, combat sports legend, and he has a win over Australia's first ever heavyweight champion, Lucas Brown, Big Daddy. So Gallen is a smoother operator in there. He is 43, a little bit long in the tooth, as they say. These are going to be 8 2-minute rounds, and I'm going to the fight. So I do well historically the last 6 months. I've been doing really well at the Australia fights. 5 weeks ago, Sam Goodman, we hit a 22-1. One of my buddies put $1,000 on my parlay, and he won 22K. So that was a nice moment, especially considering he was, I went to the fights with him. And so it's very rare where you could, go to fights with your buddy and he listens to your bets and he wins 22,000. Now I would have been salty. I would have felt bad if he would have lost. So I definitely didn't tell him to gamble on my picks. So it's like he just saw my video. He saw my videos on the stream, and we get to the fights. He's like, "Bro, Johnny," he said, "I went heavy on your picks." I go, "Fucking hell, dude. What's heavy? $100?" He's like, "No, 1,000." I'm like, "Damn." All right, guys. So I uploaded my breakdown analysis, stats don't lie video of Gallen versus Sonny Bill. I found it shocking to find on my betting account, my sports bet, that Gallen is actually the underdog. So I'm definitely getting action on this fight. You can see the breakdown. It's in the playlist section. I have right now Paul Gallen 225, meaning you put 100 on Paul, you get your money back plus 125. Sonny Bill is $1.94, meaning you put 100 on Sonny Bill, you get your money back plus $94. The draw is interesting. The draw is 7-1. So I got to be honest, I've never seen a draw odds this close ever on a fight. Now, even going into, I think, the 10th round of Amanda versus Katie, I think the odds for a draw was 8-1. And I think I said something on a live stream. This is 750-1. No, this is boxing, David. This is boxing. Paul Gallen, dude. Come on now. Paul Gallen has wins over, like I said. Paul Gallen, this is boxing, mate. David, this is boxing, mate. I feel like this is a promo for boxing. This is boxing. Yeah, so this is Wednesday night boxing. Paul Gallen, his losses are to Tershevsky and Justice Hooney. So we haven't seen Gallen box since 2022. But like I said, one of the biggest sports in Australia is rugby. These guys in their rugby careers were rivals. In the media, they hate each other. They've been talking trash. They've been talking trash for years. So this is going down. What's up? I just followed you. I'll follow you back. David, is your tag your same name? Dwayne Styles in the house. What's up? Good night, Johnny. God bless to you as well, Dwayne. So yeah, if you guys follow me on Insta and you have a different tag than your live stream, just let me know when you follow me on Insta. Just message me and I'll follow you back. Because I use that Instagram I use back in the days just for fitness stuff. So if you Instagram stalk it, you'll see a bunch of OG fitness posts. I still am a strength coach, but you know that fitness scene, dude. You guys think the boxing online scene is a bit dogmatic with casuals? The fitness space is wild. So, yeah, my passion for work is helping people. So, you know, I'm one of these coaches. I'm one of these fitness coaches who actually have clients, you know, in person. I actually help people in real life. But the fitness space, the online fitness space, is a toxic soup of people just with their clothes off, not really helping people. Picture from the Matias fight. How much do you charge for one training session? I can email you, Dwayne. I'll email you because I have online. I have online clients too. So if you aren't in the Sydney area and you can't make it to my private gym, I have online coaching, guys. I'm also launching. I'm actually launching one of the features on my channel. So oh yeah, of course, David. David, is your IG tag David Icer? Because I know people have been adding me, but I don't recognize the names. My Instagram's not as busy as it once was. You know, 5 years ago, the Instagram would get like over 100 new follows a day. I don't use it for that anymore. But lately, since my YouTube, I've been using it for YouTube. We'll say in the last month, I've been telling you guys to go to my Instagram. I've been getting like, 10 a day. And I'm trying to cipher through who's from the channel and who's not. Yeah, Dwayne, you're from the VA. Okay, I should remember that by now. What I'm going to do on the channel, Dwayne, on the insider group features, I'm adding a feature because a couple people have been emailing me asking me about my coaching services. And the wheelhouse on the channel is boxing, but if you go to my playlist, I have online classes, an online mobility class. So either way, I'll keep you posted. Was Morrell fight of robbery? What's up, Raw Dog? Okay, Dice David, the one. All right, awesome, I'll remember that. Was it a robbery? I don't know. I mean, considering I went all in. I'd have to watch it again. I was sweating that. It could have went to Katia. That knockdown was huge. I thought, yeah, it's tough. What do you guys think? Do you think Morrell, it was a robbery? What do you guys think? I gotta be honest, the only robbery I saw in the last 2 days was probably two judges scoring the Alicia Bumgarner versus Miranda fight. 98-92 for Bumgarner. I thought those were the biggest robbery cards. In terms of the judges' scorecards, some of the judges' scorecards for Miranda and Bumgarner, 98-92 was insane. I thought, and wasn't some of the scorecards for Shakur and Zepeda super wide as well? I think one of the judges gave Zepeda 1 round or 2 rounds. I thought that was pretty wild. But in terms of robbery, did the right fighter win? Probably, guys. I mean, Morrell, maybe. Barrios, Abel Ramos. That fight was awful to watch, guys. That Abel Ramos Barrios fight was awful to watch. Morrell fight was definitely a robbery. I don't know. They cooked on Shakur card. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was crazy. I had Zepeda. You got to find. You could find probably 4 rounds for Zepeda. I think that's fair. 8-4. Yeah. Okay. You took the words out of my mouth. Next gen. So yeah, 8-4. Should have been a draw at best. Katiev, Morrell. I'm glad it wasn't a draw. I bet the house on Morrell money line. One of the boys bet 50K on Morrell. So yeah, I took Shakur by decision. I hit with my heavy bets with Shakur by decision and Berlanga, Shiraz not to go the distance. Guys, I took Berlanga to win on the money line. But I was saying all week, that $1.90 for Berlanga Shiraz not to go the distance, I felt was insane. Hopefully you guys picked that, or some of you boys just picked Shiraz. But my point was, Berlanga was the underdog on the money line. and Shiraz was the favorite. So you would have gotten more value taking will the fight not go the distance at $1.95 than taking Shiraz on the money line. Matias' decision was plus 500. Yeah, that was crazy. I had Pacquiao winning by 2 rounds. I thought Pacquiao did the better work at the end, but I'm not calling that a robbery. So like I said, I was on both ends of the spectrum, guys. I picked Morrell and won a lot of money on Morrell and bet a lot of money on Morrell, but then I also picked Pacquiao. So I didn't even out because I only put like $25 on my long parlay. So like, if you want to know my strategies, if you guys are paying attention of betting at least, when you watch my Stats Don't Lie videos, those are my money line picks. So throughout the week, if I do a long parlay with 10 fights money line, or I cover 5 fights for my channel, those are just my money line parlays. I'll go 25, $50 on that, and we'll see what the odds get. I go really heavy on my locks of the week, and I'm learning that over the last month. I've been winning more money that way, putting as much as my bankroll allows me to go on like $1.40. Shakur money line, Morrell money line. I think it was about $1.40, $1.35, and then also Shakur to win a decision $1.50, and then the Berlanga fight not to go the distance $1.90. You put both of those together, which I did. It was $3.80, so 1,000 gets you almost 4,000 in return. So that's what. If you're looking to go heavy, limit the options of losing. So if I'm going heavy, I'm just going one or two legs. You know what I'm saying? Like $1.80 on Josh Kelly to stop Flavio Bea. I thought that was a sure lock, which we hit. $1.90, guy. We're not gonna find $1.90 on a fight like Berlanga and Shiraz not to go the distance. We're not gonna find one of those every week. If I could find one of those every week, guys, we're all eating. You know what I mean? I was shocked because, we knew even though I picked Berlanga, we all agreed that Shiraz was had the better bag, had the better skills, was the better boxer. What I didn't know is that I didn't expect Berlanga to be that sort of, to be that leaky, I guess. We'll just leave it at that. But I did expect a stoppage. So $1.90, that was... I went on Gary from 3D's Live after, and I tipped my cap to him because we debated. I was wrong in the money line, but I was stoked. I was stoked that I got the stoppage. even though Berlanga got stopped and I picked him, I just needed the stoppage. I was like, come on, somebody get stopped. And Shiraz, man, give me one or two more fights with Shiraz, Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Jacobs went the distance, Triple G. Danny Jacobs is a dog, though, mate. Dimitri Pirog, that's it. When you look at how the problem Dimitri Pirog presented in front of you of like how Pirog goes about his Pirog is a goddamn legend, mate. People forget about him because of the shortened career, and I'm not calling Triple G one-dimensional. But when you look at the problem, if we look at boxing and our opponents as problems and we have to problem solve, because what is boxing at the highest level, guys? It's the highest level of problem solving with consequences. You're not just doing a statistical equation in real time. You're doing a standard deviation equation in real time, and you could get knocked out. You could get your consciousness separated from you. So when that problem is Dimitri Pirog with all that movement, that reflex sort of style, versus a guy like Triple G, which you better circle away from his power side. He's probably going to give you both shoulders. You got to circle away. Don't get caught with your back against the ropes. That's what I mean. Planning for that from Danny Jacobs' perspective, I think Pirog would actually be more of a nightmare to plan for defensively than Triple G would be. But, that's all hindsight's 2020 because we saw how both of those fights ended. And, I mean, Danny Jacobs was world-class too. So... yeah, that being said, we got a lot of fights to cover, guys. If you're not getting action on Australia, we just turned the page then. You guys were asking me about Danny Lappin. Danny Lappin's fighting Edmondson. I don't know if I'm betting on that fight. I'll break it down if you want me to, guys. If you want to see a breakdown of Danny Lappin versus Edmondson, I don't know. I'm probably not going to bet on that fight. Lawrence Okoli's fighting. That's another one. Kevin Larena. People who can slip at any moment. Deliver a punch is scary. Edwin, yeah. I agree, good. Lappin versus decision. Mar, are you going to bet on that, though? Because there's one thing with the boys on the stream, on the chat, saying you're picking a certain guy. There's another thing saying, are you putting money on him? You know what I mean? Like, and that's just that's. I'm not trying to put you on the spot at all. I'm just trying to get your opinion on it. It takes a better puncher to knock them out and send them like ride to hurt Edwin. Oh, so you are gonna bet? Okay, so you're confident about that fight. I have to look into it. I'd have to look into it. Guys, what are you making of this? I think Pirog is Putin's buddy now. I haven't read much on it. I mean, David, come on now. If you're in Mother Russia, and you want to be a made guy, I mean, what you want to be friends with? If you're in Russia, are you picking Bud? Damn, it's hard not to, right? I got money on Oakley. Guys, what do you make of this Usyk Dubois fight? A week ago, I was feeling froggy on Usyk. We'll get to all these, but look, a week ago, I'm not gonna lie, I was talking out of my ass. I was talking shit. I got humbled this weekend, boys. Not from my bank account. My bank account grew, but I got humbled. I hate losing. I'm not gonna lie. I can sit here and I tell you that I'm pissed. Not a Berlanga fan. I'm not a fan of a boxer, but I did not see that one coming. So last week when I was feeling all Berlanga-y and talking shit on the live about, somebody asked me about Dubois and Usyk, and I was talking about how Dubois looked his last 3 fights, and I kind of jumped the gun. I didn't say I was taking Dubois to beat Usyk, but I was kind of hinting on the fact that we might see that. I don't know. I was watching Usyk, dude. Usyk, the issues he puts in front of you are insane. Usyk's style, like just what David Eister and I were just talking about with Pirog style versus Triple G style. That what Usyk does, that thing and then the hooks like that, all that shit Usyk does for a heavyweight, it's psychologically exhausting. His stopping him was crazy, and so part of me was leaning on Dubois having his coming of age moment. I thought Dubois won last fight. We'll pick Dubois next one. Okay, so because I'm not saying, I think it's shocking for me to even be 50-50 with this. Boxer punchers, time to develop, man, because they're not strong. So catch, can turn it right. He's a grown man. I think Usyk is old. Okay, so I'm not that crazy with my thought last week. Yeah, I'm gonna upload that video in 2 days, so I got to make a decision shortly. I just, if I turn my screen around, I was just watching Usyk's last few fights. Dubois hurt him. I still think the body shot was clean, boys. I mean, that's a hill. That we've seen this, guys. You're boxing fans. We've seen this a couple times in the last few years with these counts. Liam Wilson versus Navarrete, that long count. Granted, it wasn't to the body; it was still a long count. This one was like a foul, but called a foul. But it's always unfortunate when the ref gets involved and becomes the narrative of the outcome. Yeah, Danny was a good fighter, mate. I agree. Long too, long. He was a big boy. Upsets in Ammo Williams fight. Dude, Ammo's always fighting tough guy. Ammo's always in a tough fight. If Good's still on here, just because I called Ammo small for 160, I wasn't calling you. If I say a guy is small for 160, like I said Ammo was, and how Adamas, at 160, he came up from, 47, that's not me calling him scrubs. But Ammo, I think because Ammo's an athlete first, and he's literally getting on the job training in front of us. I mean, you could have gave that last fight to Patrice Volney. I think so. I'm not going to argue it, but I picked Ammo to win. I'm glad we won, but it's always like I might not bet on Ammo Williams fight. The last 2 times I bet on an Ammo Williams fight, man, I was waiting to get some gray hair. Should go as he ages, he bounces around pot, could feel that way. Yeah, he has an awkward style. So yeah, Arturo Popica. There's some interesting fights, guys. Dominic Crowder's fighting Arturo Popica. Mark Magsayo's fighting versus Queller. I don't like right now. Right now, Magsayo's a huge favorite. I mean, Jorge Queller, I don't think that's going to be an easy fight at all. Alan Picasso's fighting. Picasso's a guy who has a lot of pub. He's fighting Kameda. That's a decent fight. Gary Russell Jr. Guys, how are we going to cover all these fights? Gary Russell Jr.'s fighting. He should win that fight, but we haven't seen him in a while. Amo's fighting, Edinosa Olaha. I think there's going to be a couple guys on upset alert. Pitbull's fighting Fierro. Maybe is that the rematch we didn't know we wanted, or is that the rematch we're not really stoked about? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm excited to break down the tape of Pitbull versus Fierro. That's no shade to anybody. Yeah, but why does Maxio have all these fans? It's crazy. Like people, the minute I start talking about any fighter from that region, the Philippines, or anytime you start talking about Naoya Inoue, the Maxio fans come out of nowhere. Pacheco, do you guys think Pacheco's on upset alert? Pacheco's fighting McCumbee. Seb Fundora is the underdog right now. That's insane to me, guys. Seb Fundora is the underdog against Tszyu. What are the odds what are the odds makers seeing that I'm not seeing? So yeah, there's gonna be some up. I don't know. Maxell would mess around and be the one to beat anyway. Dude, I want to see Matias and Pitbull. Pacheco, I'm siding on. Okay, Pitbull won that first fight. Some say he lost. So are you guys stoked about the rematch, Pitbull? I think Pacheco gets a stoppage. Mario Barrios, Pacquiao. Pacquiao's a $2.60 underdog. McCumbee does have power. But isn't McCumbee pretty similar to Steven Nelson? When you look at the size of them, when you look at McCumbee might actually be the better athlete than Steven Nelson. And even though Pacheco won a sort of wide decision, if you rewatch that Steven Nelson fight, he was kind of winning later rounds, if I remember. We streamed that fight. Steven Nelson is Bud Crawford's guy. You know, he came in the fight, I think he was like 17-0. So cold. Yeah, but you guys weren't saying that before Plant lost to Resendez. You know what I'm saying? At the time, the McCumbee loss to Plant was a good loss. It wasn't until... No, he's not. He lost. He was undefeated. And I don't think Nelson was an Olympian. He might have been an alternate. I don't think Nelson was an Olympian. But Pacheco started struggling with Nelson late, if I remember. Yeah, what I'm saying is Nelson doesn't have any feet. You could see. I think he had some bad surgeries, his Achilles, over the last few years. I don't know, man. I'm not saying McCumbie's going to beat Pacheco by no means. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaning, but I think McCumbie's probably a tougher fight than Nelson is, don't you think? I felt like Nelson also didn't turn it up till the later rounds. It was almost like Nelson waited till like the 10th or the 11th to kind of taking risks in the pocket. He was kind of being hesitant at range a bit. You don't think he's a tougher fight? Okay. It's a close one. I'm not saying I think McCumbee and Nelson are maybe they're kind of even. But you got to remember, before Plant got stopped against Resendez, before Plant lost to Resendez, that loss McCumbee had to Plant was a good loss. If Pacheco goes the distance with him on so you're picking Pacheco to stop McCumbee? He didn't get stopped because he's smart. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I even play that one. I think Gallen, I don't know if Pacheco gets stopped. Damn, Pacheco's still green. I like Pacheco. He has a huge upside. You know what I mean? He's fighting. He's in that division. He's in that division where he's fighting a lot of guys, a lot of like grown men. You know what I mean? And Pacheco still physically doesn't have that man body, and he's still getting his pro rounds under him, and he's still kind of figuring out his style, and he's still developing. He's not polished. You know, he has a huge upside. I'm just trying to kind of see. You know, I don't think he should overlook McCumbee though. I'm not, by no means am I even going to say McCumbee wins that fight, but I'm waiting for props. I like a knockdown prop in that fight, to be honest with you. How come you guys didn't talk trash about? It's weird. I don't understand boxing fans sometimes. So give me 1 second. Jose Resendez. Yeah, okay. I don't understand boxing fans sometimes because now everybody is high on Resendez. And last month when I featured on the channel Elijah Garcia, and Elijah Garcia stopped Resendez, you guys still say Elijah Garcia is a bum. And so I don't get it. All of a sudden, Resendez is the guy because he stops Plant. But you have Elijah Garcia, who's 22 years old. He's a baby who stops Resendez, and he takes so much, people hate on him so much. I like Elijah Garcia. I think Elijah Garcia has a good upside. I just think he needs to get a bit more active. But nobody talks about when he stopped Resendez. They just talk about, he won the split against Gachet and then that loss against Kyron. Exactly. My whole point though is like there's favoritism that goes on. And you got okay, so now we think people are acting like Resendez is that dude, and I'm like, man, maybe Plant just got fraud checked. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. When we were breaking down Caleb Plant's resume, his resume isn't. I mean, Caleb really doesn't have a lot of big names. He's had a couple viral moments. You know what I'm saying? But like, the Darrell knockout viral moment. He's marketable. He says a lot of the right things. Comes from that amateur background. Had a good kickboxer. Was a kickboxer. But, yeah, my point was, is it that maybe Plant just wasn't that good? That was I can't ever forgive Plant for what he looked like against Resendez. It just looked like he didn't show up. But moving forward to the fights that are in front of us. Tszyu and Fundora. Tszyu versus Fundora. What do you guys think about Tszyu being the favorite in that fight? Because, being here in Australia, watching all the media, you can't always connect the dots, playa. So you want Tim to win. Do you see Tim winning? Wants and needs are different things, Christ the truth. You got Tszyu stopping him. Plant was beat up, man. Benavidez was punching through him. Okay, so some of you guys are seeing Tim stopping Fundora. Wow. He barely allows his fight his damaged goods. Okay. Dave, I'm not touching. Yeah, Tszyu, Fundora. I mean, I have to break the fight down for my channel. So I'm definitely going to give you my money line prediction. I don't know if I'm going to bet on it either. Yeah, Tszyu's 30 now, 31. You think Tszyu shot? I mean, it wasn't that long ago, guys, Guys, this is crazy. Going into the second round of Seb Fundora versus Tszyu, Tszyu was the guy. He had his hit list. He was calling out everybody. I do question his durability. I question Tim's durability. I question his game plan. I question his fight IQ. I question him being able to make adjustments in a fight. I do. So, I mean, they weren't saying he was domestic when he starched Tony Harrison. They weren't saying he was domestic. I mean, Gachet's a tough out. Gachet dropped him, I think, in the second round. Look, I'm leaning towards Seb. Is my point. It looked like he had Charlo ducking, yeah, and he was calling out guys like Bud. He was calling everybody out. He was calling EJ out. So yeah, we'll see it. Here's another one that's kind of, I don't want to say 50-50. Yeah, Bam versus Kafu. What do you guys think of Kafu being a 12-1 underdog? That's kind of shocking to me as well. Bam Rodriguez is getting a lot of love right now on the books. He is one of my favorite fighters. So my big question is, will Murtaza fight next? What? He's not been so silent, Christ. No one wants to fight Murtazaev. Just follow Murtazaev's Instagram. He calls fighters out all the time. No one wants to fight him. I want to see Murtazaev versus Erickson Lubin. I want to see Murtazaev versus Jaron Ennis. I want to see Murtazaev versus Josh Kelly. There's a lot of fights to be made. People have to take fights. People have to accept fights. Yeah. Those are disrespectful odds, DJ. That's my that was my point. Kafu could fight, boys. Kafu, whatever, however you pronounce it. But 12-1 dog against Bam is crazy. Fumalela Kafu. I mean, it's like I said, we're just talking about the odds. You're not all the way sold on Bam. God damn, I am next gen. I'm sold on Bam. He's a fucking dog, dude. Bam could quite possibly he belts at 12, 15. If he go 18, I could see him 22, maybe 26. By it's all said and done, he's only 25 years old. At least a 4-division world champion. You know what I'm saying? We could at least be looking at a 4-division world champion, future Hall of Famer. He's only 25 years old. He's that dude. Bam Rodriguez is the motherfucker, mate. Like, how do you when I watch him, I want to just get up and hit the bag and shadow box. The spirit he fights with, mate. Also how just like cool, calm, and collective he is outside of the ring. Like to me, Bam Rodriguez is the full package. Bam versus Inoue. Mate, anyway, I hope we get to see it. I don't know if we're going to get to see that. I think, the answer is Junto. Junto's my guy, too, though. Junto Nakatani, people better not sleep or forget about Junto. Because, Junto's in between Bam and Inoue, you know what I'm saying? So, like, Bam's 15, Junto's 18, Inoue's 22. People talk about Inoue. But then you got my boy Rafa Espinoza at 26. No one talks about Rafa. Dude, could you imagine Bam? It'll never happen. We're just talking future fights. But I want to see Rafa fight Inoue or Rafa fight Junto. I know Junto's only 118 right now. Rafa is 31 years old, I think, right now. But, mate, don't sleep on Rafa Espinoza. That dude is a goddamn dog. I love when he fights. Yeah, these are some of my favorite fighters from 26 below. They don't get enough pub like internationally. These guys are dogs, dude. And shit, 30. I mean, Sugar Nunez is one of my favorite fighters. There's something about the Mexican style when they could, if only Zepeda had a little bit more crack in his hands. Yeah, so Bam versus Kafu. People were just expecting Bam to walk through him. No, Espinoza's a dude, man. And then, there's a couple sleepers at 26. Bruce Carrington, Tszyu. Tszyu's really, really good as well. He checks all the boxes. People are really high on Nick Ball. I don't know, man. I think Nick Ball, he's gonna handle Sam Goodman. Goodman's a 22 with no pop. What makes people think Goodman's gonna move to 26 and all of a sudden have dogs in his hands? Goodman's a smooth operator, has boxing skills, knows how to operate in a ring. But, I mean, Cesar Vaca, I was at that fight. I gave Cesar Vaca more rounds than I thought that he should have won, I feel. I'm sold on Tszyu. Bruce Carrington is that dude, man. Bruce Carrington can fight. I'm not sold on Nick Ball, though. Yeah, I wouldn't call him a trash can. Come on, guys. I would call Nick Ball a trash can. You guys are So growing up, man, we used to call it IGNANT. Y'all ignorant, not even ignorant. Y'all cats is ignorant. I was underwhelmed by Tszyu in his last fight. When he's on, there's a lot of things I like about Carrington's style and his size at 26, I guess. Jesus Ramos is a guy who could crack too, man. I love covering his fights. So yeah, there's so many good fighters in the world, guys. We are in the midst of watching a lot of really, really good boxers. Oh, Espinosa. I think right now Espinosa would beat Carrington. I think that's still a really good fight. I don't think Carrington needs to step up. I don't think Carrington's fought a guy. Wasn't it just Edward Vasquez? Didn't we just see as Rafa versus, was it Edward Vasquez? Vasquez was really tough, and Rafa just dogged him, dude. Jesus is still young. Jesus is younger than you guys think. Ramos, he could still develop a bit. His style does kind of look finished though. His style does kind of, certain guys get to a certain point, no matter their age, and their style becomes a finished product. What's up, Bricks? Guys, wherever you're tapping in, can we like this video? Could you also chip in with the convo? How long you been live? PJ, 35 minutes, brother. The thing that impressed me about Jesus when he first coming up was Vlad Hernandez, tough out. Brian Mendoza, tough out. Those are two good calls right there. I don't know if anybody's sleeping on Jesus, are they? Jesus Ramos is right in the mix for me at 54. Santana reminds me of a smaller Rohan. Polanco. Hey, dude, people are just don't overlook Jesus Ramos. The dude could crack. He got dogs in his hands. I hate Fulton's jump to 130. I want to see him in 126 matchups. Stephen Fulton. Yeah, he's coming off that win over Figueroa. God damn it. Figueroa. Yuck. What is that alarm? You hear it? Dude, it's not an alarm. Guys, those are called kookaburras. You guys can hear that? So I live basically in a tree house. I have without getting too much into it, there's trees all around me. Those are kookaburras. Google it. A loud ass Aussie bird of prey that just constantly makes that goddamn noise. I can't believe you guys heard that. Yeah, kookaburra. It's a Aboriginal word. But Johnny down do 50 for the getting all his predictions wrong. I want to say 50. Did you set 100, boo boo? What predictions wrong? You wild. We out here eating. And this wouldn't fight Ramos. Yeah, he would fight Ramos. I think don't misconstrue. Don't listen to these mainstream narratives, these fake narratives about Jaron Ennis ducking anybody. Guys, Boots Ennis is that dude as well. Jaron Ennis isn't ducking anybody. That Jaron Ennis is a goddamn problem, dude. He's probably going to pick Goucher. I want to see Boots versus Verge. That's as real as it gets right there. I just think it might be, what is Verge right now? 27? 26, 27? What's Boots? 27? Still both young kids. Crazy. Both young. People who run with the Boots duck so-and-so, you guys are smoking dope. Jaron Ennis is as high level as a boxer as you're going to get. Coming from the gym he comes from with his pops Bozy, them cats Philly dudes, they ain't ducking nobody. You guys are smoking weed. You don't have to be fans of guys to at least admit truths. I don't know who would win. I don't know who would win against Verge and Ennis, man. Two of my favorite fighters. Nah, I don't think they're swerving, dude. You guys are the same. People saying he's swerving are the same guys who picked Stanionis to win that, and we're salty when when we told you Boots was going to stop him. Boots is the real deal, dude. Stop hating. What he does in the ring, you don't even have to be a Boots fan. You don't even have to be a Boots fan. You just have to appreciate boxing to watch that. What that young man does in the ring is insane. In a firefight, he's so athletic and so talented. You probably don't see what he's doing, or you don't get impressed on what Boots is doing in a fight because he makes it look so easy. Nothing's ever forced. He'll switch stances on you. Boom, pot shot you, guard down, lean in. Dude will fight you in the pocket. He'll fight you at range. Dude will jab you up. Dude is nice, man. Slav Sarenko, Solomon. All over the lane. Next career wide. 47, 54, 47. Abdullah Mason versus Noakes. Great fight. That one's hard. To say Boots beats everyone at 54, I'm not saying that, guys. Karen Chukichin's a fucking stud. How do I rate Karen? Dude, nobody wants to fight Karen Chukichin. Karen Chukichin's a really, really good fighter, mate. Just like David Avenetian, really, really good fighter. You guys judge fighters when they lose to guys like Bud or Ennis, and you guys disregard what they do, the skill set. Chukichin is a high operator, mate. And like Avenetian, he's a little bit long in the tooth. Same thing. Avenetian's a really good fighter. I wouldn't say Boot. I can't say right now Boots beats everyone at 54. We have to at least see what he looks like at 54. There are some dogs at 54, guys. 54 is 54 is top heavy, and it goes all the way to number 30. We went over this list. He's not flat-footed. He could fight flat-footed. Overrated defensively. Nah, I disagree. I just think you're looking at his willingness to trade. Guys, there's a big difference with being having holes in your defense and also, you know, willingness to trade. That dude's just a dog. I hate to talk about Karen. Why do you hate to talk about Chukichin, man? Watch his tape. I like him. I like him as a fighter. He can't box. Saying Boots can't box is insane, mate. What's up, Goat? Goat in the house. Yo, I followed you back on Insta, by the way. He resets after getting caught. Yeah, I agree, next gen. So I won. I put $5,000 on Boots to stop Stanionis, and I got it at 4-1. So we won a lot of money on Boots stopping Stanionis. He can't box as good as... Dude, good. Do you box, mate? Now you're offending some people in the chat. He can't box as good as you think? What are you talking about? I box. If you to say that tells me that you've never boxed before. To say that Boots can't box is insane. Bro, just because you got a couple bets right, and doesn't mean that you can come up on the live and just start talking rubbish. Jesus Christ. That's insane. He's not a good boxer is insane, dude. This guy, unbelievable. He does this every week, though, boys. You just got to put up with him. Yeah, I think Good should go to show business chat. It's insane, dude. He is flashy and nice. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Boots looks like at 54. I am, because like I said, we already like him at 47. Yeah. Yeah, but that's what makes him fun, next gen. No, Rambler. No, Rambler. Stop. Show your slips. You lost them all. You said Morel won. Morel did win. Don't get salty, Good. Don't leave, Good. We're not trying to silence you, mate. You just showed your cards that you don't know shit about boxing by saying Boots can't box. I'm giving you actual real praise. I'm out here. Oh, Good. Don't cry, Good. Good, get back here, Good. You come back here right now. You're the one who said Boots can't box. All right, guys, hold up real quick. Yeah, but boxing fan, if you remember 2 years ago, we were talking about how Boots is the worst thing going on. Boots was his marketing, but then Eddie swooped in. He's Matchroom already brought 2 fights to Philly for him, so I mean that's really helped him out, and then his performances as well. So let's go over that 150. Let's go over. Damn, BoxRec still has him at 47. That's interesting. DJ, what's up? Yeah, it was pretty controversial here. Okay, so here's what we got. So this, when he does, I get every pick right again. You're not going to call me a genius. I'm definitely not calling you a genius, mate. Calling you a genius? Are you high? Pac have a chance to not get knocked out. El Rabbit, I don't know, man. I don't want to see that fight. 46. This is what people are kind of convoluting. Maybe Pacquiao at 46 is not George Foreman at 46. I've heard people trying to make that comparison. George Foreman did it. Yeah, when you look at when you look at what George Foreman was and how he fought and his style and the division, power guy, heavyweight. It's the obvious. When you look at Pacquiao when he was at his best, explosive athlete, reflexes, speed, agility. At 46, a lot of those things go out the window. Look, if he goes in there and he's competitive and, it's competitive people are going to say what they're going to say. If he goes in there and looks terrible and gets beaten up against Barrios, somebody should go to jail for that. What's the difference with... Yeah, this Barrios versus Pacquiao fight to me is almost akin to a Jake Paul fight. It's like teetering on like Tyson versus Jake Paul. Just in terms of like how those fights ever got sanctioned. I'm not disrespecting Barrios or Pacquiao, saying that it's, Tyson was goddamn 58 years old, and Jake Paul, we know what comes with him. That's why I don't want to see this fight. Guys, Pacquiao, dude, he takes so much damage already. He's 46 years old. You can't reverse brain damage. CTE's a real goddamn thing. How many kids does he have? And I hope to God he's not taking this fight because he needs the money. I hope that's not the case, because that's even more sad, and that's even a bigger travesty of our sport if a guy like Manny Pacquiao is taking this fight because he needs the money. So we'll see what happens. Fresh BX. Hopefully the odds get tilted. BJ Penn. That's a sad, sad thing, Raw. Talking about how his family members are imposters and clones. It's insane, dude. And BJ, I did a documentary on BJ a couple years ago, dude. BJ in his prime was one of the greatest fighters of all time. 45, 55, dude. The shit that BJ, they called him the Phenom for a goddamn reason. BJ was that dude. Barrios can win. Barrios is 30 years old, guys. You think Barrios isn't just going to stand there like this and let Manny hit him? Pac said in the video, I took this fight because I realized I can sell a fight. DJ, do you believe him? Because that's all that really matters. He thinks he could sell a fight. I think so, Raw. Barrios, I got Manny winning a decision. Are you guys who are picking Manny because you're Manny fans? Or are you picking Manny because you think the 46-year-old could beat a 30-year-old? Even when Pacquiao Thurman got signed, it was weird to me. And that was, 5 years ago? Pacquiao Thurman to me was weird. I was like, why are they fighting? Why are they fighting, dude? And part of me has to think that Pacquiao wants to fight Floyd. But if you want to fight Floyd, you don't have to fight Barrios to fight Floyd. Unless Manny thinks he's going to beat Barrios and get a belt and bait Floyd back in. I don't want to see this. There's so many good fighters we talked about. Look at all the guys in line at 47. So you're telling me at 46 years old, Manny Pacquiao comes into boxing and skips the queue at 147. That's insane. That's my whole goddamn point, is the fact that, like, it doesn't make our sport, our sport lacks trust of the fans, credibility of, ethics, corruption. We know this dating back to the late 1800s with the bare knuckle days and, the traveling boxers going from train to train. Jack Dempsey, the hobo world champion. Like the corruption, Jack Johnson, the corruption early days. The last thing we see is a 46-year-old bloke coming in, skipping the queue at 140. Why the hell do we even have rankings? Why do we even have belts? Why are there even goddamn, contenders in title eliminator fights? For what? I know, we know the answer to. That's my whole point. It's my whole point. It's bullshit. And then fight fans have the audacity to call Brian Norman Jr. a punk when Brian Norman Jr. says he'll knock Pacquiao out. And they're like, oh, why would you say that about a legend? Why would you say... Because he's the one coming back trying to fight again. Let's see how many people he skipped the line, right? So this is BoxRec algorithm. Take whatever you want about it. At 147, would Pacquiao beat Haney? Would Pacquiao beat Brian Norman Jr.? Would Pacquiao beat Crocker, Catterall, Rohan Polanco? Dude, 47 is light as hell. Holy shit. Go to 40. God damn it. 47 is light as hell, guys. That's insane. 40 is there? I mean, 47 might be lighter than 47 might be lighter than 60. Have you guys looked at 147's rankings as of late? Because it's insane how thin it is in terms of it's not a heavy stack division at all. I think Nick Flaz would be Pacquiao right now. I'm a Nick Flaz guy. That's not even supposed to sound controversial. Yeah, 47's insane, guys. There's slim pickings at 47. This is the top 10. Haney, Norman, Crocker, Catterall, Polanco, Mbenge, Cisco, Curiel, Gio Santillan, Sasaki. Yeah, no, it makes you wonder. Well, Boots was, you got to remember, guys, when Boots was coming up, you know what 47 looked like. You had EJ at 47. You had Bud Crawford at 47. 47 for a minute was kind of hot. It wasn't, it's kind of like, it became like an elevator division as of late. Barrios is a champion at 47 and is ranked 16th in BoxRec's algorithm. Right in front of Rolly Romero and right behind Shakrot Giasov. Alexis Roca's 14. Karen Chukachin's 13. Yeah, 47 is slim pickings. Canelo versus Crawford feels a bit more like Crawford may win since Hamza Dustin. I don't know why you think that, Christ the truth. Because Hamza beat Berlanga, you think that... Hold up, let me get this straight. Because Hamza beat Berlanga, you think that is going to come into play when Bud fights Canelo? What? What do you mean? What are you talking about? I know you're going to tell me you're going to say that because Canelo couldn't stop Berlanga. But I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How do you guys see the Canelo versus Bud playing out, boys? Do you think Tszyu could beat Devin? I think he can. I think that's a good fight, actually. I want to see Tszyu versus Devin. I agree, technique and IQ, Canelo's top. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate what both guys do. Canelo's resume as of late is aging like milk. Yeah, but guys, this always happens when fighters get older. You know what I'm saying? Canelo gets a UD. I mean, you guys were saying the same thing about Bud because he didn't stop Madrimov. You know what I mean? And then the way Verge looked against Madrimov, everyone said that because Verge looks better against Madrimov than Bud looked against Madrimov, these sort of scenarios were playing out, which it's tough to do that. Bud cannot. You think he can knock down Canelo but win by points? Bud can knock down Canelo. The last time we saw Bud knock down, he dropped EJ a couple times. He didn't knock down Madrimov. When's the last time Canelo got dropped? Has Canelo... Am I tripping? When's the last time Canelo got dropped? Has Canelo been dropped? Have we... Deep breath. That's what I thought. Okay. How could we then say that? Yeah, he's never been down. The dude. So we're thinking Bud could drop Canelo? Jesus, I don't know, guys. 168 pounds is a far away from 147. I had Pacquiao winning by 2 rounds. I did. I'm sorry. Nah, Cotto's brother didn't drop him. He kind of shook him a bit. Sugar Shane. Wasn't it Sugar Shane who kind of have him wobbled a bit too? But then he got... This was like when Canelo was like 22 years old, I think. He did take it easy on Munguia. Bud has no chance to beat Canelo on points. Yeah, that's going to be... What are you guys getting odds on that? I'm not even. They're not even showing me Canelo versus Bud yet. What's the insider news on Fundora fight? Is it safe to bet on Fundora? So what I'm hearing, guys, is that one of the boys who follows me, who follows our channel, Johnny says Boxing Insider. Guys, if you haven't, if you can, a couple bucks a month, join our Boxing Insider group on YouTube. We're getting notices that one of the boys in Sydney was sparring with Tszyu. He was part of the Michael Fox camp. Michael Fox came down here in Sydney to help Tszyu prepare for Fundora. And one of the boys hit me up on Instagram talking about how, you know, I'll share the chat in the private group. I'm gonna put it up in the. I'll put it up in the private group. But he was basically saying Tszyu for this camp was, you know, working on more of a at-range jab rather than, you know, typical Tszyu jab, flood your work, crowd your work, engage. And he was saying the difference with this jab going into this camp was he was going to throw the lead hook off of it, which you never see. You never see Tim go 1-3. You know, you always see Tim go 1-1-2. You never really see him go 1-3. So take what you will about that. That's just more of a tactical game plan info that people have been messaging me about. We'll see. Yeah, right? Or at Tim's range. So we're an hour into this, guys. Like this video. If you guys want to see the breakdown of Gallen and Sonny Bill, that's on the channel. I uploaded it today. It's two Australian rugby legends fighting in boxing Wednesday night. Yeah, Mide, Ola, you have to join the group, mate. You think Fundora? I don't know if Fundora's a level above. It's hard for me to see Tszyu get past Fundora. Do you guys see Tszyu? All you boys out there who's picking Tim to win, is he winning a decision or is he stopping Fundora? It's a tough fight. It's really tough to call right now. Yeah, Xander Zayas, another. Dude, Xander's getting ready to fight Chino. You got Tszyu beating him by stoppage. God damn. How confident are you on that? Are you guys when you guys pick? Are you going heavy on Tszyu to win by stoppage? Seeing Fundora get stopped? Jesus. I don't know, man. I could actually see Fundora stopping Tszyu. Xander not strong enough. Are you insane? Xander is a massive 154 guy. What are you talking about, dude? Xander Zayas is one of his strengths at 22 years old is how strong he is. Fundora has avoided Crawford, Zayas, and Murzailov. Huh. I don't think so. I don't think he's avoided them. You're betting Pitbull Fierro. That seemed hoping for no cuts. Fundora's an arm puncher. Different divisions, mate. Janibek Alamhanale fights at 60. Xander fights at 54. What are you talking about? Just like Berlanga, Tim's mental is defeated. Have to take. Yeah, Fundora's the dog. That's Raw. I don't have a Discord. You just join it on my channel here, Raw Dog. So right where you hit subscribe as a member, you click join. It's basically YouTube's version of a Discord, so you guys don't have to leave and go to a different app. It just doesn't allow me to watch videos and stuff in there, but we do that on Instagram. Yeah, I don't know who just said Fundora's an arm puncher. Fundora could crack, dude. I think it is. Yeah, Xander's one of my favorite prospects right now. Xander's fun to watch. So Xander, you know who's been sparring with Xander is Mateo Tapia. Mateo Tapia is a 160-pounder. I think he started 68. I think he's fighting a 60 now from Sydney. And he went life and death with he has one draw on his record with a really tough guy, but he's undefeated other than that. He's been getting good rounds in with Xander. Xander's fighting Chino. Xander versus Chino is going to be a tough fight. We're gonna see if Xander's ready for those big dogs after Chino, because Chino, he's a tough out. He really impressed me against Charles Conwell. So there's a lot of good, interesting matchups. Raw Dog, I agree. Very, very important test for himself and us fans, actually. Fundora went the distance with Sergio Garcia. I want to see, but you know, if you're playing that route, Fundora got stopped against Mendoza, and Tim beat Mendoza, so Tim should beat Fundora if you're playing, if you're doing those maths, right? I'm high on Janibek. I think Janibek is one of the toughest fighters in the world, man. Alam Hunalay is a monster. I like his style a lot. I like how mean he fights. I like how he talks shit in the pocket. There's a lot to like about Janibek Alam Hunalay. You're not high on Fundora. Some people, it's weird when people, when I'm learning from, you know, guys who either like him or don't. Why aren't you high on Fundora though? What's your reasoning? What don't you like about Fundora? I like Fundora's range. I like how he uses his jab. I like how he fights on the front foot. I like how he's tall and flat-footed. I like how he doesn't use his height sometimes and he just gets into a dogfight. I like his mental. There's a lot of things if you're a fighter that you like about Fundora. Alam Hunalay, he's from somewhere around there. I don't know if it's Mongolian, somewhere maybe up near Uzbekistan, somewhere around there. That Central Asian part of the world. Is Kataev better than you thought? No. Kataev's exactly who I thought he was. I broke that fight down. Kataev's a guy who has power, doesn't move his head, gets hit a lot. You know, he's exactly I've covered Kataev's career. He's exactly who I thought he was. I just thought Moreau was a better fighter, and he won the fight. But, you know, Kataev, nobody talks about Kataev has been suspended for steroids for 2 years. All you guys are talking about that that I got gifted a decision by picking Morrell. You guys are crazy, mate. You guys are the same people not talking about Kataev on getting popping are the same guys who think that Ryan Garcia beat up Devin Haney even though Garcia popped. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was coming up, there was a time when I was coming up, if you were a proven steroid user, you were abolished from every sport. And in the media, from the fan base. Now it's weird. You could be even domestic abuse. You could be a habitual domestic abuser, steroid abuser, and your fans will still defend you. It's atrocious, if you ask me. It's atrocious. Kataev couldn't be hurt if we hit. Yeah. Zach, you got to hit Kataev with a goddamn fire extinguisher over the head. Kazakhstan. Okay, I said Uzbekistan. I knew it was a stand. Tim can't box. Tim could box. Tim goes about his way. Tim has his own style. Methodical, nice with his front foot. Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before the steroids, guys. Barry Bonds, watching already a Hall of Famer. It's the biggest travesty what Bud Selig did to that whole era of Major League Baseball. This is my wheelhouse. If you guys remember, 1994, Major League Baseball goes on a strike. To get fans back in the seats, 95, 96, they did a whole campaign called Chicks Dig the Long Ball. And so many unspoken agreements with, you know, not doing drug tests. All of a sudden, you had guys like Sammy Sosa, who were career 230 hitters, all of a sudden hitting 300 with 40, 50 home runs and 100 ribbies. But guys like Barry Bonds were already winning Gold Gloves All-Star in center field for the Pittsburgh Pirates before he went to the Giants. The dude was one of the greatest all-around baseball players of all time. It's a travesty he's not in the Hall. His eye, dude, he had an eye like Ted Williams in terms of being able to hit the ball, what pitches he would decide to swing on, what pitches he would take. Look at how many times he was walked in his career intentionally. I think he has a record for the most times ever intentionally walked. The dude's swing was as sweet as it gets. The way he covered center field was insane. Barry Bonds is that dude, one of the greatest baseball players, top 5 of all time, hands down. With or without drugs. With or without drugs. So, I'm talking about combat sports as well. When you see, you know, I lost a lot of... I'm not trying to shade any retired fighters, but when I found out Mosley, when I used to be, when I was a kid, man, one of my favorite fighters was Shane. When I found out Shane popped, you know, he was part of that whole Belko scandal. That kind of bummed me out. You know, I was like, damn, this dude was on. And it just kind of makes you second guess that whole, even in boxing, that whole era, all the people who were probably on it. Evander, same thing. Evander was linked. I mean, you look at how Evander moved from cruiser to heavy, and look at his body type. I mean, does it pass the sniff test? You know what I'm saying? And he was one of my favorite fighters, still to this day. One of my favorite interviews I ever did was interviewing Evander. Spencer's literally a Maury. But yeah, so that's my take on the Gear McGuire. Yeah, Mark McGuire, stud, Bash Brothers, mate. hit the ball out of the park even before it. Everybody's on steroids. Ramos, Winner, Spencer, sucks. Do you think Haney gets stopped? Do I think Haney gets stopped against Norman? He could, man. I don't think people still understand how good Brian Norman Jr. made. He's that good. I think Haney. I don't think we're gonna see. I don't think Haney gets back to that aura that he had before. You know that what happened against Ryan. I think it's just. You think Haney easy decision? I don't know, man. What? Norman has good feet. Norman's fast. He has power. He could crack. Long time away, right? I agree. That's why I keep it week to week. We keep it week to week out here. So, we talked about Barrios, Pacquiao, Bam Rodriguez versus Kafu. Fundora versus Tszyu. Diego versus McCumbee. Pitbull Cruz versus Fierro. Fierro's a 4-1 dog against Pitbull. Some of you boys on the chat said that you saw Fierro winning that first fight. Ammo versus Oaha. Figueroa versus Gonzalez. Popoca. Arturo Popoca. Arturo was the guy that he's a top, isn't Arturo a top-ranked prospect who was supposed to fight on the Jaron Ennis undercard against one of Ennis's guys, and his opponent pulled out last second, and they put Arturo in there with a sort of no one, and Arturo stopped him early. He was supposed to fight, was it Clay Cook or Clay something out of, is this the same prospect? Yeah, Arturo Cardenas. Dude, Arturo Cardenas is a fun little prospect. I think he's a Robert Garcia guy. He's 16-0, 9 stoppages. Yeah, he fought Cortez. He was supposed to fight, yeah, it was that Atlantic City card on the undercard of, wasn't that Karen versus Ennis? No, it was Stan Jonas versus Ennis. Yeah, Arturo Popoca or Arturo Cardenas. He's a fun little prospect. I like him. He fights at super bantamweight. 24 years old, 16-0, 9 knockouts. He's fighting. I might go heavy on him by stopping. I'm not getting. That's gonna be one. That's gonna be one of my locks of the week. That's gonna be one of my locks of the week. Is Cardenas versus. I mean, it's a bit of a step up. He's fighting Crowder, who's undefeated. Crowder's 18-0 from Baltimore, 31 years old. Who's his best win? He's coming off Duca Micah. I mean, what's his best win? I don't know. Do you guys know Dominic Crowder? Fierro was too fat at the face-off. Arturo Cardenas. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm liking this pick. I like this. I like this pick right here. $1.22. I think Cardenas stops him. Fierro would be a tough out for anyone at 40. You think so? Anyone at 40? You think so? I don't know, man. I'm not too impressed with Fierro. People like it. I mean, he's tough. Let's see. Did you guys think he beat Pitbull? Why do I not remember that fight being close? Was that fight close? 98-92, 98-92. So the judges had the first Fierro Pitbull fight 98-92, 97-93, 96-94. So the truth is probably somewhere in between. Probably more like 98-94. 23-3, 18 knockouts. Who's his best win? Split. I mean, who's he beaten? A lot of guys that you guys probably have never heard of. Yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't want to see this rematch. But, you know, the fans probably, it's possible at best that Bam and Kafu go the distance. Guys, Bam is brutal. He's such a fun fighter. You know what I don't like, though? Go to Bam's box rec right now. If you go to Bam's box rec, I hate when they do this. He has 2 fights already booked in as official. I mean, this is just me being superstitious. we know it doesn't always, you know, it's not the smartest thing to look ahead. BoxRec has obviously the Kafu fight and then, you know, the Puma fight already booked in. Imagine how salty you would be if you're Kafu. It's like you're already going to have a booked-in fight. 11-0, 8 knockouts, South African, 5'6", 64-inch reach, 26 years old, 115, 115, 115. I mean, guys, this is... You think this... I don't think this fight's going the distance. This is going to be a goddamn firefight. This is going to be a goddamn firefight. Kafu versus Bam. If anything, I'd be picking... I'm not fighting anyone named Bam. If anything, I'm picking the stoppage. The fight not to go the distance. Because the odds are crazy. The juice isn't worth the squeeze if you're going money line, Bam. $1.05. $100 gets you $5 on return. Will the fight go the distance? $1.22. No. Let's go. Let's go. Knockdown props. Nothing yet. Bam by knockout's only $1.23. So you could get more value. You'll get equal value. You get equal value if you just pick the fight not to go the distance, then you pick Bam to win by knockout. Just whatever you want. I mean, it's kind of hedging your bet if you pick will the fight go the distance in case Bam gets slept. I don't see Bam getting slept. I think Bam's that dude. Plenty of guys get their jaw broken. It's boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's just because you get your jaw broken in a fight doesn't say much about. I mean, that just shows how big of a dog you are. Yeah, Bam's that dude, mate. I put Bam up there right next to, like, in terms of the top 10 pound for pound. I mean, you could shuffle him or put him in any order you want to put him in, but, you know, Usyk, Bud, Inoue, Canelo, Bam. I got to put Nakatani. I'll put Shakur's in my top 10. That's just off the top of my head if I'm missing somebody. Bam's that good, guys. Bam is that good. And he's just a fan-friendly style. Yeah, top 2. David Eisner. Yeah, B-Vol. I missed a few. Oh, God. Tszyu can beat Bam. Well, F coach, Tszyu fights at 126 and Bam fights at 115. It's just something to think about. Carrington, I think, is 29 years old right now. Bam's 25. So for Bam to be at 115 and Tszyu to be at 126, for that to ever take place, I don't know. Tszyu would have to get a short notice fight maybe against, like, you know, if he could get like that Rafa fight. I think Tszyu's still a couple fights away from even fighting for a title at 26. But Bam is going to get fast-tracked to 18. It's already been talked about. Bam, and then maybe 22. But in between Bam and Carrington, Nuto versus Carrington. Yeah, I got to do more homework on the South African. I mean, he looks the part. I watched him give an interview. Yeah, he's a boxer. Kafu's an undefeated South African. I think he's 25, 26 years old. Undefeated. He got some crack to him, though. He got some pop to him. (11-0), 8 knockouts. Has a higher knockout to win ratio than Bam. He has 3 draws, though. He has 3 draws is insane. 4-round draw, 10-round draw, 12-round draw. Dude, having 3 draws is insane. When holy shit, when 30% of your fights end in a draw, like 27% of your fights are ending in draws is insane, actually. That's like a Lethway record. I told you guys about Burmese bare-knuckle boxing called Lethway because the only way to win a Lethway fight is by knockout. So if you don't knock your opponent out, it ends in a draw. So guys will have like records like 6, 4, and 22. Kafu's record is 11-0-3. That's an odd record. 3 draws. I got to do the tape on it. I'm uploading that in the next few days. I'm uploading Dubois and Usyk tomorrow. So I'm going to be giving you my pick there. Yeah, guys, I've never bet. Maybe it's just my competitive spirit. I've never put money on a draw. It's just like as an athlete playing sports, fighting, nothing sucks more than a draw. So I think because of that, my mind isn't wired to look at a fight and pick a draw. So that's on you, mate. You want to pick the draw? Go ahead. Do I think it could happen? It's boxing. Anything could happen. When's this fight? Wednesday night, meme. 2 days from now. The fight on the title of this video is two nights from now. Boxing fan ugly. I'm not sold on him either. Was it when he fought was it Chris Billum Smith? Didn't Chris Billum Smith Guys, we're going over an hour. I got to get ready to teach a mobility class. Paul Gallen. Watch the video, guys. It's meme. I uploaded it. Go to my playlist. Fight predictions. Watch Gallen versus Sonny Bill Williams. I give you my prediction. That fight's Wednesday night in Sydney. I'm actually going to that fight. Right now, you can get Gallen as the 2-1 dog. I'm going heavy on Gallen. I think he's the better boxer. If you could get those odds, take it. 8 2-minute rounds. The draw 7-1. I don't bet on draws. I appreciate all the boys here. Even if we disagree, good. You enjoy your chat. Goats in the house, memes in the house, boxing fan. I always appreciate you. Everybody new to the channel, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Join our Insider Boxing group. It's a couple bucks a month. Johnny Says Boxing Insider. I go live every day, 2 times a day. I'll see you tomorrow.